Hey, how's it going, guys? Mr. Boss for the win here, and in today's Grand Theft Auto video, we're going to be talking about the top 10 most bizarre Grand Theft Auto lawsuits that have been filed against Take-Two Interactive and Rockstar Games. So let's go ahead and jump straight into this. The first lawsuit that you might not have known about is Cypress Hill's Shag versus Take-Two. So when Rockstar North started developing Grand Theft Auto San Andreas, Cypress Hill backup singer Michael Shag Washington was reportedly invited to the studio for an interview. Now, according to Shag, Rockstar asked for some specific details about his life and said that he would be contacted if they decided to use any of it for San Andreas, but Rockstar never called. However, when GTA San Andreas hit the market, Shag noticed some striking similarities between himself and the main character, Carl C.J. Johnson. In the lawsuit, Shag specifically cites CJ's appearance and the fact that several characters rode bicycles, something that was common amongst the teenagers in his gang. However, the court disagreed with Shag's complaint and dismissed the suit in 2012, and here's a snippet from the ruling. The plaintiff is relying entirely on CJ's physical appearance in the game, but that appearance is so generic that it necessarily includes hundreds of other black males. Lawsuit number 2, gamers sue Rockstar for delayed content. So this one kind of makes me cringe because this is when gamers threaten legal action because they're not happy with the game, but this one is especially embarrassing. In 2013, Bruce McMahon and Christopher Bengtsson filed a lawsuit against GTA's publisher, Take-Two Interactive, because Grand Theft Auto Online wouldn't become available until 2 weeks after the game launched. I'm not even joking, 2 weeks. Now, I understand being frustrated when a game doesn't live up to expectations, but it takes a particularly self-important person to instigate legal proceedings over a 14-day wait. And the fact that Rockstar announced the delay prior to launch and GTA 5's packaging specifically mentioned that online play may not be available to all users didn't help the case. Now, unfortunately for McMahon and Bengtsson, the courts don't usually reward impatience, and a few months after it was filed, the U.S. District Court of California granted Take-Two's motion to dismiss. Lawsuit number 3, Take-Two versus the City of Chicago. So most of the items on this list involve annoyed parties taking legal action against Take-Two Interactive and Rockstar Games, but this one's different. Back in 2008, when Grand Theft Auto 4 was hot off the press, the Chicago Transit Authority decided to breach a $300,000 advertising agreement by pulling GTA 4's ads from its buses and bus stops. The ads were taken down following a Fox News report that criticized the CTA's decision to distribute Grand Theft Auto's campaign after a series of violent crimes swept Chicago. Take-Two obviously wasn't enthusiastic about how the situation was handled and quickly filed a lawsuit back. And after a 6-week legal battle, Take-Two and Chicago set aside their differences and the ads were placed back in rotation. Lawsuit number 4, Lindsay Lohan versus Take-Two Interactive. So shortly after Grand Theft Auto 5 hit the market, Lindsay Lohan claimed that one of the game's characters was based on her. But instead of laughing it off, the actress hired a team of lawyers to file a 67-page document detailing her complaint. The lawsuit alleges that Lacey Jonas, a minor character in GTA 5, was modeled after Lonas's likeness and poked fun at her attention-seeking behavior. In the game, Jonas is a former child star who considers herself to be the voice of a generation. Also, her personal life is a bit of a mess. Now, one of Lohan's arguments was that the plaintiff has been using the peace sign hand gesture for years before and after its use in the video game. Apparently, Lindsay Lohan believes that red bikinis and a pair of fingers constitutes as a legal defense. Now, the suit was dropped in 2016 and it ruled in favor of Take-Two Interactive. Lawsuit number 5, Mob Wife reality star versus Grand Theft Auto. So in 2016, former Mob Wife star Karen Gravano filed a $40 million lawsuit against Take-Two and Rockstar, claiming that one of the Grand Theft Auto 5 characters stole her life story. Now, the character in question is Antonio Bottino, the daughter of former Gambetti family mob boss named Sonny Bottino. In real life, Gravano's father was Salvatore Sammy the Bull Gravano, a former undercover boss in the Gambino crime family, who eventually started working with the FBI to bring down John Gotti. Now, while Antonio Bottino's story has a number of significant similarities, Take-Two defended the allegations by pointing out that life stories aren't protected under the law. And it's not like Gravano's storyline was a secret either. Even if Rockstar openly admitted to basing Bottino's character on Karen Gravano, the narrative could be comparable to one of those ripped from the headline story arcs on something like Law and Order. Now, this lawsuit was eventually dropped and ruled in favor of Take-Two Interactive. Needless to say, no one really has a ton of success fighting the massive company Take-Two Interactive and going after Rockstar in Grand Theft Auto. Lawsuit number 6, Jack Thompson hates video games, including GTA. If you're a gamer who has never heard of Jack Thompson, well, I'm about to ruin your day, so I'm sorry for that. Jack Thompson is a lawyer who's been trying to squash the video game industry for nearly 2 decades. He's taken on titles like Doom, Quake, Wolfenstein, Bully, Manhunt, and Mortal Kombat. But Grand Theft Auto is his favorite target. Now, whenever a real-life crime is committed by someone who played Grand Theft Auto, Thompson always hitches his wagon to the family's victim. His name comes up so often, it's difficult to nail down the number of times that he's tried to sue Take-Two. And whenever a family agrees to accept his help, he turns the case into a soapbox, leaving the victims to fend for themselves. In 2008, the Supreme Court of Florida permanently disbarred Thompson, citing cumulative misconduct, a repeated pattern of behavior relentless force upon numerous unconnected individuals, a total lack of remorse, or even slight acknowledgement of inappropriate conduct, and continued behavior consistent with the previous public reprimand. So needless to say, this guy sounds like a ton of fun, and as I mentioned, there are so many different references of either police shootings or murders where he has tried to connect the dots between that incident and Grand Theft Auto. This guy really hates Rockstar and really doesn't like GTA. Lawsuit number 7. The Hot Coffee mod cost Take-Two Interactive $20.1 million. So Hot Coffee is probably the most infamous piece of Grand Theft Auto's controversial history. When San Andreas was released in 2004, it was loaded with a sexually explicit minigame that had been deactivated by Rockstar's development team. The game gave players the ability to participate in a poorly animated sex scene after a successful date with one of CJ's 6 girlfriends. She invited him in for coffee. Now, when the PC version was released, modders discovered the erotic scene and created a mod that allowed players to access the content. Rockstar responded by playing dumb and accusing the hackers of adding the sequence to San Andreas' storyline. But when the same scene was discovered on the PS2 and Xbox 360 editions, the developer was forced to take responsibility. This ended in a class action lawsuit and a $20 million settlement, and GTA San Andreas' rating was increased to mature to adults only. This was horrible for the title as it couldn't be carried in most stores. Rockstar eventually created a version of the game that didn't contain the Hot Coffee mod, and the mature rating was reinstated. And just to recap how ridiculous this is, you have to be over 18 to view a pixelated sex scene, but 17 is old enough to kill a police officer and go on a murdering rampage inside the city. Lawsuit number 8, GTA Vice City's Aunt Polly versus Rockstar Games. So this one is actually pretty recent and what prompted me to make this entire video. So if you've never played Grand Theft Auto Vice City, there was a fortune teller in the game named Aunt Polly. She was part of the Haitian gang and was a pretty prominent part of the storyline. Well, the group Psychotic Readers Network, which actually holds the rights to the late Miss Cleo, has just filed a lawsuit against Rockstar Games for $500 million for exploiting Miss Cleo's character. Now, the company states that even though Vice City came out 15 years ago, Rockstar continues to make money off the game due to reissues and bundled GTA packages that are still being sold today. Now, since this is brand new, we don't have an update on the outcome of the event, but I would imagine like the previous lawsuits, this case is not going to hold up. In fact, Rockstar just put out their response saying these claims are entirely meritless and completely ridiculous. We will vigorously defend ourselves with regard to this matter. So if you don't know who Miss Cleo is or you've never played Vice City, then this one might be a little bit difficult to understand. Essentially, it's the Vice City version of what Lindsay Lohan is trying to do. So there's a good chance that they're not going to win this argument either. Lawsuit number 9, this one actually comes from inside Rockstar Games. This is Leslie Benzies versus Rockstar North. So this was a huge lawsuit where Leslie Benzies was suing the company he used to work for, the games he used to create, for $150 million. Now, this one is probably the most deep dive that you'll have to do to understand it. I'll leave all the links I have in the description. Essentially, Leslie Benzies, the former president and really the brains behind every Grand Theft Auto game you've played, was essentially forced out of his own company, and they basically turned their backs on him. So again, I'll leave a link to that in the description. While no outcome has been decided yet, this lawsuit still goes on in the battle between Leslie Benzies, who's not only gone on to create his own company, but is making a rival GTA game as well. It'll be very interesting to see how this one ultimately plays out. Lawsuit number 10, Daz Dillinger versus Rockstar Games. So in October 2013, the rapper Daz Dillinger filed a cease and desist letter lawsuit against Take-Two and Rockstar Games, claiming that 2 of his songs have been used in-game without his permission. So that's not that big of a deal, but his request was by far the most interesting part. He requested to have all unsold GTA 5 copies to be recalled and destroyed. Not just recalled, destroyed as well. He wanted them completely removed off the face of the earth, which was one of the most funniest things I've ever heard. But anyways, that right there is 10 bizarre lawsuits you probably didn't know that were filed against the Grand Theft Auto series and Take-Two Interactive, and sometimes Rockstar Games as well. So this is probably a different video than you're used to on my channel, so if you did go on to enjoy this style, and if you want to see similar videos like this, be sure to show your support by leaving a thumbs up on this video. That would be awesome. Let me know in the comment section down below what I could do better, what I could improve on, and be sure to subscribe if you enjoyed, as I might be doing more of these in the future. But with out of the way, guys, thank you all so much for watching. Take care, and of course, I'll see you guys in the next video.